Well, good morning or afternoon and season's greetings. Welcome to the Department of Communication and Information Technology's monthly cybersecurity training session. It's been a while, but we're back. I am Teresa Duhar, General Secretary and Chief Information Officer of the General Department of Communication and Information Technology, better known as CIT. Today's session is Have a Cyber Safe Christmas, protecting your home and church during the holidays. During this session, you will be able to identify the most common holiday cyber threats targeting individuals, families, and churches. Apply practical security measures to protect personal devices, online accounts, and financial information, and recognize phishing scams that increase during the Christmas season. The instructor for this 45-minute session will be Reverend Tanisha Hollingshed, a cybersecurity instructor who has worked as a high school career and technical education teacher in the public school systems for over maybe 15 years or so now. Reverend Hollingshed currently teaches for Keller Independent School District. She often speaks about cybersecurity awareness and has been an invited speaker for several nonprofits, conferences, churches, colleges, and universities. We are certainly proud of Reverend Hollingshed. She is currently a PhD student at the University of North Texas, member of the 8th Episcopal District, and she will be graduating, the Lord says the same, in fall of 2026. Reverend Hollingshed is an ordained deacon and serves on the digital media and technology ministry team at Morning Chapel CME Church. She and her husband, Pastor Kenneth L. Hollingshed, have two adult sons, Kaylin and Kingston. So now, without further ado, is Reverend Tanisha Hollingshed. If you have questions, please place them in the chat or QA section in Zoom or in the comment section if you are viewing by Facebook. And now, Reverend Hollingshed, show her some virtual love.
Well, good afternoon and good morning to some. Thank you, Dr. Duhart, for this opportunity to share. And it's so good to see everyone here in the Zoom room. This is a very, very important topic. So I'm glad you're here and prayerfully you will share this information. And it's been a while, Dr. Duhart. I'm just excited to be here. As you mentioned, I'm working on my PhD, and this has been a really tough semester. I took a full load and I was really missing you and missing sharing. So I'm so excited to be here today. I first want to just bring greetings to our senior bishop, Reddick, who has been a great support of my program with cybersecurity and my ministry, and to my husband, Pastor Kenneth L. Hollingshed, who is the pastor of Morning Chapel CME, known as the Rock Church in Fort Worth, Texas. And to all of you, again, in the Zoom room, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm going to share my presentation at this time. And one message that I did get, I spoke with had a great conversation with a bishop just a few days ago, and he said, Reverend Hollingshed, please make sure that you remember the folks who don't really understand technology. So talk to us like a third grader. So I hope that this presentation is simple enough for you to be able to apply some of these principles and tips that I'll share with you today. So I will keep that in mind to make sure that we keep it simple. And if it doesn't make sense, please feel free to ask questions or email me or send a message in the chat and I will clarify it for you. But again, today's message is about having a cyber safe Christmas and how we can protect our homes and our church during the holiday seasons. I just want to start with this introduction about what's happening right now in our world of technology and particularly in cybersecurity. During the holidays, we're doing a lot of shopping online, we're traveling, we're giving, we're attending different holiday events. And I'll tell you, the cyber criminals are sitting back and they're watching us. They know that Christmas is the easiest time to catch us off guard. Cyber safety is not about being good with technology or computers or really understanding technology. Really, it's about just slowing down, paying attention, and knowing when to just pause before you click on something, because that's where they get us, those clicks. So the simple belief, anything but the prudent give thought to their steps. Proverbs 14:15 is what I thought about when we have to just really think about scripture and know that we have to be wise about what we're doing now in this technology world, in the cyberspace. Um, I want to share first what information science is, and I know that this may be one of those terms that seems like it's over your head, but really it isn't, because we deal with this on a regular basis, right? We deal with information every single day. That is what I'm getting my PhD in, information science with a concentration in cybersecurity. And so information science is really about the study of how information is created, how it's organized, how it's protected, and how we use this information to support each other, to support organizations, and overall to support our society. And what does that look like for us? It just, from a church standpoint, it just means when we have a lot of data that consists of maybe church member names and phone numbers. If you have prayer request. You'll have just a lot of information pertaining to the prayer requests. If you have live stream videos, if you are live streaming, there are lots of videos that you're going to have probably on your social media or your YouTube page. That's all of that is information. When you have your digital tithes and offering, and when you have 2 or 3 or 400 people, or even if it's just a few people, 25 people, that's still information. um, think about all the text messages that you get on a regular basis. Think about your emails. When you look in your email right now, you're going to see a ton of emails. Some of it is spam, but we're getting emails from a lot of different people. If you're like me, you probably are part of a lot of different group chats. I have at least 15 group chats that I'm a part of. Some with my through my PhD program, some with our church, some with my sorority, some with my school where I teach. So there is a lot of information that is going back and forth. I just recently got a message that I had too many photos on my cell phone. How many of you have a lot of photos on your cell phones like me? Raise your hand.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have everybody raising your hand, but that's information. Um, when you have to ministry sign-in forms, whenever you're having an event, and you have to sign in for to give information like your name and your address and your email. Again, this is information. We are using information every single day. So I'm going to go back to this pyramid. Now that we know that there's a lot of information, it starts out first, and this is what I study on a daily basis. We are doing this every day, but we don't necessarily think about it because we just naturally are using our technology, and we're sending information and we're communicating on a regular basis. But when we first send out a information, or if we look in our email, and I'll use our email as an example, and hopefully I'll make this very simplistic. If you look at your email, whether it's Gmail or Yahoo, whichever source that you're using for your emails, if you look at it, at first it's just a lot of raw information, right? Um, but when it comes to actually looking at that data, you have to give it meaning. You have to make sense of it. And so that's what this pyramid represents. You have raw data every day, particularly with your emails. Now, when you look at your emails, um, you have information in it. Um, Instead of just seeing it as just a lot of different emails, this is where you begin to process what's happening, what each email is about, whether it's something that's being delivered to you, whether you're sending something to someone else, or whether something looks suspicious. Okay, there are some of those emails that look like, wait a minute, where is this coming from? I didn't order this, or I didn't um, uh, send a message to this particular person. So why am I getting an email from this person or this source? And then having the knowledge, and that's what we're doing with the CIT training uh, sessions, is to give you knowledge, to be able to look at the raw data, make meaning of this information, and then kind of understanding the patterns, knowing if it's a fake email, especially right now. Is this something that I really need to pay attention to? Do I need to go ahead and put this in my spam? Do I need to tag this as something that may be malicious? And then before you actually click on it, you want to pause and you want to think about it. Do I really need to click on this if I didn't actually send something from UPS? Or did I even put my name in for a drawing? And then just delete it. If it's something that you're not familiar with that particular email, or when you see that subject line and it doesn't look familiar, let's go ahead and delete it instead of taking a chance of actually clicking in it and getting a virus on your system, or allowing a cyber criminal to actually take access, get full access to your system. So now let's kind of think about why it is increasing right now, because right now the cyber crimes are at an all-time high. Why is this? It's because cyber criminals understand that this is the peak season for donations. Many of us, we want to tithe a little bit more. Even churches will ask for you to tithe. Pastor might say, okay, I want y'all to tithe a little bit more this season so that we can give to more families. So your benevolence funds, they're talking about that more. So we're giving to these different charities because we want to make a difference, right? Cyber criminals, they understand this. They're watching us and they know what we're doing right now. We're shopping online. We are giving online. We're doing more live streaming. As we know that when you go on social media, there's a lot of interesting things going on with the different videos. We're seeing people singing and dancing and all sorts of fun things that we're into right now for entertainment. We're traveling. We're using the public Wi-Fi as we travel. And we're also buying new devices. Some of you are thinking about, okay, this is a great opportunity to purchase a new cell phone or a new smart television or something like that. So again, this cyber criminals, they understand that this is what we're doing. And so they meet us where we are. All right. So what are they watching for? The holidays are, again, the peak season. So people are giving to charities. Criminals, they're going to create fake charities. They know that you're giving to charity companies, so they're going to create these emails or possibly some ads on social media where they're creating a fake charity for you to actually give to. People are attending church more, or attending different types of programs in church. And so the criminal will impersonate real churches or pastors. People are making lots of donations, as I mentioned, so that you may see a criminal send an urgent donation request. People are getting lots of deliveries. So now you're going to see some of these fake delivery texts. So these are things that you should be looking out for, because again, the cyber criminals are going where things are trending. What's trending right now? People are buying several gift cards. That's a major, major scam right now. So be careful about those gift cards. You want to make sure that it hasn't been tampered with. But with those gift cards, they'll create gift card scams where you can click into something to win your free gift card. And then you have where they're creating these fake emails, as I said, that are coming from different churches asking for your support or offerings or donations for the church because they know that this is a time where we're spending a little extra time in church. So this is a time where you have to pause, think, read through whatever you're reading. Don't move too fast during this season. Actually, don't move too fast ever in any season when it comes to your technology. But this is what I teach all the time with kids and adults. First of all, before you post something, I know that we're in a society where there's so much information that we see on a regular basis. But you have to pause and think, is this true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary for me to send this message, or is it kind? And then you need to think also, if it's urgent, let me just pause. Because typically, if something's urgent, we want to move fast. We want to hurry up and try to help solve that issue, or we want to open up that message so that we can see what's going on. But typically, these are warning signs. Urgent messages around this time, pause and think before you click into that message, because you may see something just in the subject before you even read the full message. They're trying to get you to click into it. So before you do that, just pause. And if you ever feel pressured, just slow down, because some of those emails will say something like, act now, move fast, you must do this today. That's when you pause and you think before you actually click into whatever that message is, whether it's your cell phone or your email. Now, I want to go through about 5 areas that are very, very popular and some examples that you might look for. Because we are shopping online, most of us are receiving packages on a regular basis. I know even we're receiving packages here at my home, but around the community in the neighborhood, we're seeing UPS and Amazon like all day long. You may get a message like this that's on the screen that says you have a USPS mail that is waiting for you, or you have an incorrect information, zip code or address. Do not click into it. Call first. Just say, hey, I received a message. And what you will find out is they typically will not send an email or a text. The U.S. Postal Team typically will not send this information. So just be mindful of that when you get that message. Well, the cyber criminal knows that you're most likely expecting packages. And so the first thing you're going to do is go, oh my goodness, that's that package that I'm supposed to get from my granny or my mom. And so I need to click here or click Y so I can figure out what's going on. So pause and think about it, and maybe even make a phone call to verify that. The next one, as I said, will be some type of charity or church scam. This can be fake donation emails. This can be someone impersonating your pastor or your bishop or presiding elder, or even your someone on your finance team. They may come as a text message that says, hey, this is pastor, or this is elder such and such, and just need to get some extra money that we're trying to collect for bishop, or we're trying to collect for whoever. And because you know, and the criminal knows that this is a time where we would do something like this in the church, you may believe it. So again, pause before you click or respond to it, and then pick up the phone and say, okay, bishop or pastor, was this you who sent me this text message? Live streams, be very careful when you're clicking into certain live streams. This is another area where cyber criminals, believe it or not, they can create fake live streams. Okay, you think it's one thing, but it's not. So be very, very careful. If it's not a organization that you're familiar with or a church that you're already familiar with, be careful about just clicking into all the different live streams that you see on social media. Another big one is email spoofing. I've talked about this before in some of the cybersecurity training. Email spoofing just simply means that they're changing up the email instead of it coming from maybe hollingshed@gmail. They may change it up a little bit, maybe TA Hollingshed, and change that Gmail instead of G in a male, it might be P-mail, right? Or Q-mail. But because you're not paying attention to the URL or where it's coming from, you may not notice that little slight change. And that's called email spoofing, where the criminal is tricking you to think that it's coming from someone or an entity that's not really coming from. So be very, very careful when it comes to those emails. Pay close attention. So sometimes you'll see the name, but then go further, take one step further and look at the actual email address. Okay. Social media impersonations, that's happening like 24/7. Just make sure they are who they say they are. Even if it looks like them, even if it's Tanisha Hollinshed's profile picture and her name, be very careful about, is this really Reverend Tanisha saying this to me, or Reverend whoever talking to me through social media? And so kind of take those extra steps to make sure, does it sound weird, like coming from me? So Dr. Duhart and I have a relationship, so we kind of know how we talk to each other. And so if I get something that's suspicious, in fact, I've had to reach out to Dr. Duhart before and say, you know what, I think this looks suspicious, because we kind of know how we talk to each other. So kind of get familiar, with the people that you're communicating with on a regular basis. And if one little thing seems odd, just pick up the phone and make sure that someone's not impersonating them. The next one is the online shopping scam. This is where they use fake websites, ads, your those emails again, or social media posts that pretend to be like real products. And so if the cyber criminal is already doing some social engineering where they're just kind of watching your habits anyway before they actually attack, they're going to send you some things that they feel that you would like or be interested in. Right. So if you're interested, and I use myself as an example all the time with Starbucks. I have my Starbucks that I see people every day on a regular basis. Hey, Miss Hollinshed, getting your regular coffee today? So, so not only do they know that, but if someone is actually doing any type of social engineering or watching me in any way, they're going to know, I know I could probably put a Starbucks ad out there, and she's going to possibly click on it to see if she can get her some free coffee. So that's how these cyber criminals think. And so you have to think like a criminal before you, if it looks too good, pause and think about it and say, okay, wait a minute. I know I like Starbucks, but why did it just pop up? Is it really coincidence, or is this possibly a scam? All right. So again, those online shopping scams are their goal is to steal your money, to get your personal information, or to get some type of payment information, right? Because all they need is a combination of a few things, and they have a lot of power when it comes to your assets. Your personal information is your asset, so you have to protect it by all means necessary. The next one, is I mentioned before, are these gift card scams. So when criminals pressure you to buy the gift cards, be very careful. You may see this come up in your email, and I have some examples here on the screen. It may say, congratulations, you've been selected to participate in our Costco gift card promotion. You may get something from Amazon because that's where we live. We're constantly shopping on Amazon. I have some friends who don't even go to the store. Everything they do, whether it's groceries or shopping for clothes, they are doing this through online platforms. And so this is some of the examples of what that might look like when it comes to the gift card scams. And again, when you're in the store and you're purchasing these gift cards, just make sure it has not been tampered with, because there are some high level scams that are going on even in your stores like Walmart. So be mindful of that. And the last thing I want to share with you, didn't want to give you too much information today. Um, just to remind you again, a lot of these things can be solved with simply uh, just using stronger passwords. Use long, unique passwords or phrase. I like ice cream, and change up those words and mix them up a little bit. Avoid names, birthdays, or common words. So if they're already doing some social engineering and they know that you talk about certain things all the time, and they know that you talk about your dog all the time, there are some AI systems that cyber criminals can use in a matter of seconds, just taking all of this information that they know about you. And I know I've talked about this before, but I just want to mention it again. The more information that they have about you, with your birthday and your common words that you use, they have a system that will just do a combination of all of those in a matter of seconds until it hits your password. So the more complicated you make it, the stronger it is, and the harder it is for a criminal to actually break your password. Okay, so that's like the number one way that these criminals get into our systems and get into our phones, because we are not using strong passwords. The other thing that is a big no-no is never reuse those passwords on all of your systems, because that's the first thing. Once the criminal finds out that password on one system, then he's going to have access to all of the other systems, and he's going to try that same password. And I know a lot of people who use the same password for everything, and that is very, very dangerous. I've talked about having different layers of protection. The more protection you have, the stronger it is to for you to protect yourself. I always use the White House as an example. If when you're going to the White House, or if a criminal is trying to get to the White House, they've got to get past the gate, which is going to be hard. But if they happen to make it past there, there's probably going to be some dogs on the ground. There's probably shooters on top of the house. So there's extra layers. And so when you get the two-factor authentication added to your devices, that just adds an extra layer of protection. So so if they happen to break your password, then you have this extra layer. You're going to get some type of text message or email that says, "Hey, is that you trying to get into your social media account? Or is that you trying to purchase something in Mexico or across town?" Then you have an opportunity to stop them at that level. But if you don't have any extra protection, that it just makes you even more vulnerable. Make sure that you are protecting your devices. We all get updates. We all have these systems where it'll prompt you to actually do your updates. Take a minute, don't keep ignoring it, but allow that system to go through its updates, because those are some things happening behind the scenes in your device that is protecting you. And there is also a process that hackers and cyber criminals can go through to see those devices that are not updated and those that are not protected. Like, they can go out there and look in the cyber land and say, "Oh, wow, I found a device that's not protected." They have, unfortunately, there are some systems like that they can go through. And then, as I mentioned before, you want to take a moment to verify before you give. even though it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it's quacking like a duck, quack, quack. You just want to make sure that it's truly a duck. And the way I think is you are guilty or you are a criminal until you prove that you're not. And that's how I know it sounds bad. And I know it sounds like, whoo, she don't trust nobody, but you have to think like that. You have to think like a cyber criminal. If I were a cyber criminal, how would I get this particular person, or how would I hack into this particular system? Think like that. But then you also have to pause and say, okay, I know it looks right, but let me just make sure, because this is Christmas. This is the holidays, and I've never received this before. So let me just pick up the phone and ask. I'm so proud of Pastor Kenneth L. Hollenshed. This morning, I was in one room and he was in the bedroom, and he goes, "Hey, Tanisha, I got this message from McAfee. It says that none of our systems are protected now. Um, should I go? Should I click this?" And I said, "No." He go, "Okay, I just wanted to make sure." I said, "No, we have lots of different security uh, on our phones and computers." And I said, "And that is not a true message." And so I was very proud that he was able to pause and think, ask the question, verify, to make sure that that was a legit, it was an authentic email, which it was not. And so I showed him how to go in and list it as a scam, block it, and delete it. Okay, so make that extra step and verify. And then lastly, you want to make sure that you are sharing this information with your family members, with your church members, with friends, especially your seniors in your churches and your family, teenagers, your youth. A lot of times they're vulnerable, they don't really understand. And as I mentioned before, really, this cybersecurity is not about being the most tech savvy person. It's about being wise when it comes to clicking, because that's what it takes. All it takes is one click. I had one friend here recently, one click, and this criminal got into her work computer, her personal computer, her bank accounts, and for about 2 months, she couldn't do anything. She was miserable. And she was like, I don't know what happened. And then we kind of walked through the steps. I said, "Tell me what's happened over the last few days." And we pinpointed it. She clicked into something that looked authentic, and it messed up her world. They took all of her money out of her bank account. And a lot of these criminals are getting more and more advanced. So they're not traceable, especially these credit cards. And a lot of them will ask for money. And I'm just throwing this in here. The voice, the AI voices, all it takes is for them to record your voice, and then they can have full conversations with people that sounds just like you. There may be just a little bit of a robotic sound, but if a person is not pausing and thinking and really listening, they may not catch it. And they can have full conversations where they're responding back to loved ones. This has happened on numerous occasions where people have called me and said, "Look, it sounds just like my son, or it sounds like my mother, it sounds like my friend." And I sent them the money. And once you send that money, typically they'll do it through some type of transfer, or click into this, or put it on a gift card. And you can't, it's untraceable, which makes it unfortunate. But again, please pause, think before you post, before you click into something, and always verify. And I'll pause now to see if anyone has any questions about some of these different types of scams that I've shared today. Thank you.
I'm looking in the
Any
chat
questions?
and don't see any questions yet. I saw someone with their hands raised, but oh, will this slideshow be made available to share with members, families, and friends?
We typically use the videos,
Yes.
but I don't mind sharing the slides. If you send me an email, um, I can share it with you, and hopefully you can share it with some of your church family and friends, and just to make sure that everyone is staying safe around the holidays. We are living in some times, y'all, where people are ruthless and they don't care. They don't care about us, and so we have to take care of each other. Any other questions?
Reverend Hollinshed,
Yes.
I want to thank you because I'm getting a lot of emails, strange emails, and a lot of um, different things, and you have enlightened me. I'm glad I was able to share from Linda, Louisiana, and I learned a
Praise
great
God. Is
deal.
that brother uh Stewart, Robert
Y-
Stewart?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's my friend. Hey, friend, how are you? Good
I'm
to
doing.
see you.
I'm doing wonderful.
Praise
But
God. I'm glad this was able to help
I
you.
thank you for that and the sharing.
You're
I know not to
welcome.
be
Thank you
taking
for
each,
being here.
believing in each email and the different things that are coming through. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I want to thank you as well because I got a phone call from Texas Rangers telling me that I had a bank account that several bank accounts that they found that was tied to drug money, and I had to send them
Whoa.
um, my social security number, and it was a bunch of stuff. And I remembered that we
Mm-hmm.
had this earlier, and I was like, I'm not giving you my social security number. And it was like, well, we got a warrant out for your arrest, and we just need you to
Mm.
verify so we know it's you so we can straighten this. I mean, it was so intimidating that, I mean, for a minute, I was nervous that they were going to be banging on my door. But then I
Right.
said, you know what? I'm going to call the Social Security company and I'm going to find out what's going on. And he was like, you can call if you want to. And he literally gave me a badge number, everything. And
Yes.
when I called the Social Security office, it was like, oh, that's a scam. But it had me panicking, and I started thinking if they did this to my 78-year-old mother, she would have gave up all this information. So it enabled me to give her a story so that she could understand the seriousness of what it is.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that, because that is it, again, creating that urgency and creating that fear. That's when you pause and go, wait a minute, because you're like you said, your first instinct was, oh my goodness, are they gonna come for me? That's when you know, oh, let me just pause, because I'm getting fearful of something. And you know that that typically is tied to some type of scam, because that's where they get us, through fear and intimidation. Thank you so much for sharing that information.
I see a question in um, Facebook. What about the pop-ups? How do we verify the authenticity?
Now, for pop-ups, I don't trust any pop-ups. I would say if it's something that you're interested in, close it out and just go to that website. Like if it's a pop-up for some product or service, I would verify. I would not trust pop-ups right now unless you have some type of special type of protection that can protect you from those pop-ups. I wouldn't trust them, particularly during this season.
Thank you.
And we have a question from Brother Phil Hill.
Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at. Reverend
Hello.
Hollingshed, wonderful lesson. I'm so excited that we in the CME Church are able to get cybersecurity and safety training from somebody we can trust. Because if everybody don't know, you can't trust everybody that comes saying that they're a good person. And people
Right.
out there trying to tell you safety things and security things, but they may actually be the wolf themselves. So we
Exactly.
know this is one of ours that we can trust to help us with everyday life things that you've given us today, every day at home, during Christmas, and especially in the house of worship. So I'm just so grateful that we know and trust you, and that we're getting professional information at the same time. It doesn't get any better than that. You did a great job. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being with us. So good to see you.
Good to see
And,
you.
and I'm so excited to share this information. I that's part of my dissertation. I believe that every person from literally K through 12 and adults should be cyber aware and have understand that there are so many criminals out here who are here to kill, steal, and destroy us in any way that they can, especially through online and through our technology. So I'm just excited to share this information. Thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions from our um, Zoom audience or Facebook?
I see Sister Ann Smith.
And good
Hello.
afternoon. And like some others have said, thank you very much for this. You had just said something about starting at kindergarten. I'd like to share that maybe we need to start a little younger than that, with the AI going into the toys. And I'm
Yes.
always amazed as I'm in the grocery store and you're looking and you see they're small enough to fit into the seat of the shopping cart, and they are intent at looking at some kind of screen.
Yes. You're absolutely right. And always think about you're either a digital native or you're a digital immigrant. Our kids born today are natives. They're born with technology. We were not born with it. And the older you are, the less likely you were connected to technology. And so a lot of people who are older, baby boomers and older generations, even starting with my generation, we didn't have technology like our kids have today. And so they're getting all of this technology, but they don't have a lot of resources and training to teach them how to use it responsibly and safely. And that's a problem. So that is what I am writing about. And that's what I have been studying over the last couple of years, how we can get this started. Now, like in Texas, they talk a little bit about, you know, a little bit about online safety, but not enough to really protect our kids unless you're into some type of a cybersecurity program or computer science. But I am asking that and proposing that it starts younger with our babies. And if we can educate parents, then parents can educate babies until they get to kindergarten. But the key thing is just understanding that there is an enemy out there. So again, thank you for sharing that. And we definitely need anybody who's using technology, no matter what age, they need to understand that they are vulnerable and they need to know how to protect themselves. Any other questions? And I'm seeing your messages in the chat. Thank you very much. I'm so glad that you were able to get some information and knowledge from this training, and I pray that you will share it. Share it with some family members. Tell them to beware. Don't click into anything, and be careful, especially with the emails. Right, we're getting lots of emails right now. Be careful with those, all of those. You won something, or those urgent emails or emergencies, even pictures, just someone sending you a one that's really popular right now is, "Oh, I got a picture of you," and then you pick up your phone and go, "Oh my God, what picture?" so, so don't fall for the okie doke. If you know you didn't send a picture and this is a number you don't know, delete, block. Any other questions? And as always, you can always reach out to me. My email is hollingshedT@gmail.com. If you think of some questions afterwards, and would like the copy of the presentation, I don't mind sharing with you. All right, Dr. Duhart.
Wonderful. All right. So let me just add well, we certainly want to thank Reverend Hollingshed for that great presentation, excellent presentation, and very insightful. And we hope that you gained valuable knowledge on have a cyber safe Christmas, protecting your home and church during the holidays. An evaluation form will be emailed to each of you to provide feedback about today's training session. I will post it here in the chat, doing it now, and I will also add it to the comment section on the CME Facebook page. We thank everyone for participating today, whether it was online here at Zoom or on our CME uh, Facebook page. Excellent presentation. Watch for more CIT training sessions in the upcoming new year of 2026, and we certainly want to bring back our great cybersecurity instructor, Reverend Tanisha Hollingshed. Again, pray for her on her journey, her PhD journey. And I know she's got a full schedule like I do. And, we're praying for you, my sister. Again, for our audience, if we have the chat, I'll save it and I will send the email addresses of persons who are wanting the presentation. I will certainly send that information on to Reverend Hollingshed. So again, thanks again for being here, and here's hoping that you have a great rest of the day, a wonderful week ahead, and have a blessed Christmas day and a prosperous new year. We're in that season, and we just hope that everyone stays safe during this time, and God bless each of you. Looking forward to seeing you again at the next session. Thank you
Merry
again, Reverend
Christmas.
Hollingshed. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Happy
God bless
holidays to
you.
everyone. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
You too.